All right, good evening. It's 8 o'clock on the dot, 9 o'clock in beautiful Guyana, Georgetown, the capital city. Yeah, some people think that the capital city is Linden, but maybe not yet. Right, so spread the word, let people know that we're on. We have coming up Sharma Solomon, former chairman of Region 10. Sharma Rahim Solomon is with us. Senior Counsel Roysdale Ford, he's also a member of Parliament. He will stop by in the studio with us for a few minutes. And also the Honorable Member of Parliament, Pandit Dinesh Jaiprashad, is also with us this evening. Packed evening. Spread the word. We'll be right back.
She put a pot on she hair and gone. Them a the first one out on the dam. Basket on she head, bucket in each hand. Hold up on she frock, I wanna she grandson. To the market, them a go. For the morning, the day is dawning. For cock-a-crow to give the villagers a warning. Rise and shine, the birds them a sing. All animal take turn as them join in the waking. Cock-a-crow, dog-a-bag, donkey, bray, horse, and they even duck-a-quack. Cock-a-crow, dog-a-bag, donkey, bray, horse, and they even duck-a-quack. Come and hear this sweet story that tell the people about life in the country. All day a back down, me now a come home. The naga jackass yard for fetch the load. Cockle shy hand, bag over shoulder, running by his side, a Rexy and Rover. From the farm, them a come. Sun a go down but up the river. Some washing clothes, some folks are bathing at the water. Fisherman, they catch them a bring. From a canoe boat, man, them start offloading. Aymara, Kwakwari, Hail Baka Kuma, even Lokunani. Aymara, Kwakwari, Hail Baka Kuma, even Bangameri. Listen to this sweet story that tell the people about life in the country. Them children glad when the weekend come. Out in the yard, them all gather round. Some a play catcher, some making house from straw. Two who come later, a grandma or grandpa. All a sit down just a wait. Moonlight so bright, it's just the right time to listen story or to say a little nursery rhyme.
Hello, this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
If you are looking to have your statutory declaration, affidavit of income, identity, damage or lost passport, lost license, tenancy agreement, agreement of settlement, power of attorney, last will and testament, and certification of documents, then you need to visit the Alistair Collins firm, located at the Kellyan Mall, 162 Lamaha Street, in Georgetown between Camp and Waterloo Street. Alistair Collins is a Commissioner of Oaths and a Justice of the Peace. Make certain you visit him or call for more information at 649-6410 or 685-6448 or 503-1451. And there's adequate parking available. Go down to the Alistair Collins firm and have all of your legal issues settled and brought to the fore. Alistair Collins firm. Contact them at Alistair Collins firm.
Good evening. My name is Mark Benchap, and welcome to Straight Up on 107.1 FM. Let's get ready to get some information out to you. Some serious information about Guyana, but particularly about the political vagabonds, right? And we all know who those political vagabonds are. You need to see my facial expression when I ask that question that we all know. It's not a question, really. We all know who those political vagabonds are. Now, let me sound like some people. Share the link. Share the link. Lemon has actually instructed me to say, I said I'm going to say this in the new year. Share the link. If you don't share the link, you will be deleted. And I got this from the Honorable Member of Parliament, Dinesh Jai Prashad, who has instructed me this evening also to say, share the link. And if you guys, he said, look, Mark, if they don't share the link, get them off. Simple as that. And he is going to be up shortly. You can ask him. He's a pandit. Well, let me not lie on him. He didn't say that. He wouldn't be so rude to you guys. Neither am I, because we throw the trench crappos in the trench. Sharma Solomon has asked me for the new year not to throw the trench crappos in the trench. He needs to justify why. But I do believe that they need to go in the trench. All right, look, Christmas is around the corner. Andrews Supermarket. They're in South. Go down there, let them know you heard this advertisement on Benchop Radio, 107.1 FM. Just go. Get some discounts. Get your stuff. Support the neighborhood supermarket, Andrews Supermarket. And for all you beautiful people who are in New York, you're in Brooklyn, stop by. Lemon, go by there and get your uniform. Nurse uniform, whatever it is. Go down to this store. It's called the Uniform Store. Now, I don't want to sound like some other guys. Share the link. Share the link. Right? Share the link. I should be just saying this for the next 10 minutes. Share the link. Because if you don't share the link, look, I'm not a bully. Sorry if I'm sounding like a bully, but I'm not a bully. And no, I have not been bullied by no one in school, because no one could bully Mark Benchop. No one. Absolutely no one. Good evening to you guys, man. It's 9 minutes after 8 o'clock. I don't want to sound as though I'm shouting at you, but support those businesses. Good evening to all of you. My name is Mark Benchop, and welcome to Straight Up. All of the foreigners who are listening, whether you are in the United States of America, whether you're in China, whether you are in Russia. Speaking of Russia, my friend, my childhood friend is still in jail in Russia. Sean Pike is still in jail in Russia. We're not hearing anything about this situation. It is sad because around the holiday season, this young man, Sean Pike, is in prison, sitting in a filthy cell, all because, not because he's done anything wrong. He's no criminal. All because he is a Jehovah's Witness. And they're barred from going around and preaching. I don't know, in 2021, people are prevented from preaching? Give me a goddamn break. Free this young man, Sean Pike, a father of two beautiful little girls. I don't know. But the installed regime isn't saying anything about this young man. But the opposition isn't saying anything either. Why? I don't know. We're going to get to the bottom of this. And we need to get to the bottom of that because it is unfair. Now look at this situation. The fire at Ivleri, the fire. And now there's a reason why I'm talking about this fire this evening. Look at that guy with his hand in his waist, right? Robeson Ben. The fire service has concluded its investigations. But this guy with his hands in his waist, well, a lot of them have their hands in the waist, right? But that's another story for another time, but not for Straight Up. Maybe some other program can deal with that, right? But, Robeson Ben has promised, well, in fact, he said that he needs to review the report, the fire report, and make some adjustments before it is made public. It has been 2 to 3 weeks now. Nothing at all about that fire. And this is the culprit. This is the political vagabond who has said that the report will be made public, but after they adjust it. Because remember, he blamed people overseas, right? And we know what he was trying to do there. These, I was going to say SOPs, but not the half form of P, but the full form of P will give you another letter. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. But enough of that vagabond, enough of that political vagabond, right? But before we do, let's say Lemon is off. They're in their basement, all of them in their basement right now. Lemon and crew in the basement celebrating a friend's birth anniversary. Happy birthday to whoever that friend is, right? Lemon in his basement. All right, let's get ready to bring our first guest on because I want to deal with this particular issue. Roysdale Ford, Senior Counsel. Then we have Sharma Solomon, former chairman of Region Number 10. Sharma Solomon, got to talk to him. A vibrant chairman he was. We have Dinesh Jai Prashad representing Berbice. But before we get to them, I want to get to Senior Counsel Roysdale Ford. Oh yeah, why do I want to get to Senior Counsel Roysdale Ford? Because let us give this young man a tremendous amount of kudos for this job. Because these guys, Roysdale Ford and his team, Senior Counsel Roysdale Ford and Member of Parliament, they never give up. You know how I describe Roysdale? As the elections petition guy. This is not the first election petition that he has been after. In the 1997 elections petition, he was one of the lawyers there, young, vibrant, and he still is. Maybe not so young, but he's vibrant. They won that case in 2001. Justice Claudette Singh ruled against the PPP, and she nullified. Well, the elections became null and void, and they had to call elections. Now it seems as though we're heading down that path again, because Petition 99 will be, the appeals court is dealing with that matter. Mr. Roysdale Ford is with us. Let us get to Mr. Roysdale Ford quickly. Mr. Ford, Senior Counsel, good evening to you. How are you?
Hi, good evening, Mark, and good night to you, and good night to your listeners.
I don't know what is going on with you. I really don't know what is going on with you. Maybe it's this victory today. You're looking sharp, nice shirt, nice glasses, every single thing, man. How are you doing?
I'm copying you, Mark. You set the trend.
Oh, my gosh. Thank you. You guys know how to flatter people. But let me say this to you. Congratulations. You did your best in the Congress. Elections are over now. Time to pick up whatever and move forward in unity. You support that, moving forward in unity, right?
Yes, Mark. The elections are over. We must move forward as a united party. The ultimate and only enemy of the People's National Congress reform is ignorance, poverty, depression, marginalization, and discrimination. And the entity that disseminates that sort of vibe and values would be the People's Progressive Party. So the People's Progressive Party is the haughty enemy of the People's National Congress reform and the enemy of the best interests of the Guyanese people.
You know what, Mr. Ford, Senior Counsel, a lot of people are congratulating you. And I do believe from the bottom of my heart, you deserve that and even more. But can you please try to speak up a little, because some folks saying that the volume is a bit low. I'd appreciate that. Yeah.
You hear me better, Mark?
It could be, but go ahead, sir. Continue.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yes.
Yeah, you were saying, were you finished?
No, Mark, I was saying that I believe that the ultimate enemy of the People's National Congress is the expression of discrimination, marginalization, and oppression. Discrimination and those sort of values that permeate this Guyanese society. And those are values which come from the People's Progressive Party. So the People's Progressive Party is the ultimate enemy of the People's National Congress reform and the ultimate enemy of the best welfare and best interests of the Guyanese people. So I believe that the elections are over. The internal debate and contestations are over. We must resolve to be a united party behind the leader of the party, our new leader, Aubrey Compton Norton.
All right, well said, because regardless of who won the leadership of the party, I agree with you, and a lot of people do express that sentiment as well. Elections are over. Time to heal the wounds, put the differences aside, and build y'all party, the People's National Congress reform. I salute you guys for that. Now is not the time for bickering. Now is not the time for vindictiveness or who stopped talk to who and that nonsense. All right, so enough of that. Let me say this to you, Mr. Ford. I was speaking with someone earlier, and I said that Abraham Lincoln ran for office about 7 times, lost before he became president of the United States of America. Barack Obama ran for office, lost. Bill Clinton ran for office, lost. It's not the end of the road. I know you ran for the chairmanship of the People's National Congress reform. You didn't do too badly either, but you didn't win. Let me say this to you, young man. And forgive me when I say young man, because I'm a little older than you, Senior Counsel. Don't give up. You still have a lot to contribute to that beautiful country and to your party. Do not give up. Be stronger. Be stronger. Having said that, let's get right in. You're welcome, sir.
You know, I want to take this opportunity to thank the number of persons throughout the length and breadth of Guyana, throughout the regions, who would have felt that I would have been an appropriate person to hold the office of chairman of the People's National Congress reform. I want to take this opportunity to thank them, a heartfelt thanks for the expression of support and encouragement. But you know, Mark, I believe that life is a cycle and life is a journey. And this has been my first foray into the internal electoral process of the People's National Congress reform. It has been a learning experience. It has been an energizing experience, and I believe that I am a better person for it. I'm better equipped for the future challenges in my personal life and my political life. I've been able to establish friendships and goodwill across the length and breadth of Guyana, and I believe that that will form the basis of a renewed push by me and a renewed commitment to the People's National Congress reform. So for me, you know, it's not always about winning, it's about participating and giving it your best shot. And I believe that I've been able to do so, and I'm happy that I've been able to develop friendships which will serve myself and the party well in the future.
All right, well said, and congratulations again. And like I've said, look, people at elections, they have not been successful all the time, but at the end of the day, you just got to keep trying and keep trying. And I know that one day you'll be able to make it. But that's what I'm saying, that continue to contribute, make your contributions in the legal forum, in the political forum, and you're a member of parliament, be 10 times stronger for the new year. And you will see those results. I'm speaking from experience, because don't ever consider giving up. I was in the bottomless pit, and I never gave up for 5 years in solitary confinement, of which you played a part in ensuring and fighting for my freedom. I have said this before. You are one of those lawyers who worked without a cent, and I am eternally grateful to you, sir. Having said that, now let's move to the elections petition, petition 99. You guys lost in the High Court. The Chief Justice ruled against you guys on petition 99, which is a very important petition. You appealed, took it to the appellate court. You won the case today. The opposition has won the case today, meaning that the appellate court wants to hear that case. They say that they have jurisdiction in hearing that case. Before we get to that, explain to our listeners how important is petition 99.
Well, Mark, petition 99 is one of two petitions that would have been filed in the aftermath of the installation of the People's Progressive Party as the installed government of Guyana. Petition number 99 was the petition that was prepared and targeted to deal with the recount and the consequences of the recount. It dealt with all the anomalies and irregularities that were derived from the recount, analyzed and documented from the recount. So that election petition, Mark, is a very fundamental petition. It is a fundamental petition because it explains the basis, the rationale of the PPP's installation in government, which was on fraudulent votes. We were able to document that thousands of persons who were not in the country at the time would have voted. We were able to document that thousands of persons who would have been deceased at the date of the election would have voted. We were able to document that thousands of persons would have presented fraudulent and forged documentation and ID cards in relation to the total process, a scheme and a plan of impersonation and vote impersonation. So, Mark, that election petition dealt with that. It dealt with those issues. It also dealt with the abuse or misuse of the processes under the Representation of the People's Act in relation to the use of oaths of identity. It dealt with the fraudulent use of certificates of employment. It also dealt, Mark, with the fact that there were at least 49 to 50 ballot boxes, 49 to 50 ballot boxes, in which there were no statutory documents that could be found in the boxes to authenticate the votes of over 11,500 votes, which the Elections Commission ultimately accepted as proper votes, upon which they made a declaration that Irfan Ali would have been the president of Guyana and the PPP would have been installed in government. So it's a fundamental question, Mark, of the rule of law. It's a fundamental question of the impropriety, of the breakdown of the entire electoral process. Those are the issues that are set out on the pages of the elections petition number 99.
All right, well said, well said. So this ruling today is very important because it now gives the coalition an opportunity to, of course, for those justices to hear the appeal and the way forward. Is that what it is, to hear this appeal?
Yes, Mark. Today, as a consequence of the Chief Justice having ruled that the election petition was bad because of some minor or irregularity, in my opinion, that did not go to the substance of the election petition, the Court of Appeal has ruled today in the face of challenges and arguments, repeated arguments, almost for 1 year. The court has finally ruled that the notice of motion, the application, and the submissions filed by Mr. Nandalal on behalf of the government and the Attorney General, and by Douglas Mendes on behalf of Barra Jagdeo, that they were without any merit and substance, and the court dismissed those applications. So, in effect, and the court expressly said so today, that this petition number 99, in the context of an appeal number 21 of 2020, must now proceed to be heard. And the registrar would be instructed by the Court of Appeal to set down the matter for case management so we could proceed to an effective hearing. But you know, Mark, the PPP, they never want to have these issues brought up in public. They never want to have them determined effectively and conclusively in public, whilst they go around parading, saying that they're a duly installed government. they're now indicating or telegraphing their intention to file possibly an appeal to the Caribbean Court of Justice.
And that's exactly what they're going to do. I saw some of the nonsensical statements coming out of their operatives there from Freedom House and so forth, but that is expected. But in this matter, the argument were very solid coming from you and your team, very solid indeed and convincing. No, we are not going to use this program here or radio station to attack any of the justices, none whatsoever. But let me just say that my friend and Justice Rishi Prasad is no stranger to me. I'd like to say he's a friend, but what I can also say is that Justice Prasad, Rishi Prasad's ruling as it pertains to the elections petition has been consistent. He has been voting or ruling against the elections petition. That's just my opinion. What was his reason for dissenting? Go ahead, sir. Sorry.
Mark, Justice Rishi Prasad, Justice of Appeal Prasad, felt that the arguments advanced by Douglas Mendez and the Attorney General were more meritorious than the arguments advanced by myself and my team, Mr. John Jeremy, Senior Counsel, former Attorney General of Trinidad and Tobago, and a distinguished legal luminary in the Caribbean. Justice Rishi Prasad felt that the Constitution or no other law permitted an appeal in the context of the situation that confronted the court. Mark, this is a very historic decision because this is the first time our courts would have had to deal with the situation of an appeal being filed before them, where an election petition would have been dismissed. We have no clear body of law which would have established one way or another how the court should have dealt with this issue. Justice Rishi Prasad felt, unlike the other two judges, that this was a case in which we should not have filed the appeal. But Mark, I believe that the issue tonight and going forward in this republic is not necessarily the decision of Justice Rishi Prasad or the differences between the justices of appeal. Mark, you know, living in the United States of America, that United States Supreme Court, there will be justices who will adopt a consistent line in a number of cases repeatedly. Mark, what I'm more concerned about is the statement by Nigel Dharamlal, which I find very offensive, very insultive. It is unacceptable. He should be immediately removed as a minister of government. His colleague, Anil Nandalal, should publicly reprimand him, should publicly come out condemning the attack on the judges of the Court of Appeal. Mark, I have been a lawyer, you know, for 20-something years. Judges have ruled against me. Judges have ruled for me. I may disagree with them respectfully, and I will file my appeal. But I believe the statement by Nigel Dharamlal has crossed the lines of propriety. It is an insult to the judges of the Court of Appeal. It is reprehensible. It must be condemned, and he should be removed immediately. As a member of government, as a minister of government, he has taken on a personality of being a buffoon and a moron to say all the ridiculous things on behalf of the government for all that they wish to say, but don't want to come to say through the acceptable channels. And tonight, I'm very upset about it. It is a clear attack on the judges. As an attorney at law, I call on him to apologize to the court. I call upon all the lawyers who appeared in this matter, ranging from Timothy Jonas to Nigel, to condemn Nigel Dharamlal, to Sanjeev Dattadin, to Kashir Khan, to all of them, including Douglas Mendez, to condemn the statement made by Nigel Dharamlal. I call upon Nandalal to condemn the statement made. It is absolutely reprehensible and completely out of line.
And just for the sake of letting our listeners who may not have gotten to read what Nigel Dharamlal said, he called reckless statement, of course, I'll get into that, but for the removal of the judges, the acting chancellor. Explain to our listeners exactly what he said.
My understanding of what he said is that he called for the Chancellor and Justice Barnes to be defrocked, to be removed from the Court of Appeal because they have ruled in a particular manner. That is unacceptable. That is unacceptable. And it mirrors the continuation, Mark, of what the University of the West Indies professors purported to do, to interfere and to somehow intimidate and affect the judges of the Court of Appeal so they will not want to rule in their own free will and their own discretion. Mark, I believe that all the judges of the Court of Appeal and all judges in this country and in this land are entitled to rule according to how they feel fit. You may disagree, and we are entitled to disagree with them, but we're not entitled to abuse them. We're not entitled to belittle them. We're not entitled to bring the justice system into disrepute.
But, and I agree with you, Senior Counsel Roysdale Ford, also a member of Parliament. I agree with you 100%. But the layman and woman out there, they can express themselves. But when someone is actually in a high office, there's a difference.
Yes, Mark. This is a complete difference. This is a minister of government, a senior minister of government. He's not a junior minister of the installed regime. He's a senior minister. And when he speaks on behalf of the government, and he speaks on behalf of the People's Progressive Party. And it is better if he shut his mouth.
He doesn't know how to do that, but let me just show the folks who Dharamlal is. His U.S. visa or revoked his U.S. visa along with this other guy, Dharam Kumar Siraj. I don't know if it has been reinstated. Maybe Nigel Dharamlal should tell the public whether his U.S. visa was reinstated or not. We don't know. But here's what. Back in 2017, Starbuck News, U.S. revokes visas of MPs. They were members of parliament when their U.S. visas were revoked. But here is this part. It says here. Sorry about that. It says a release, the bottom part says a release from the PPP said that the letters, meaning the letters that they got from the U.S. consulate section says that the consular section is now in receipt of information which it did not have at the time that the visas were granted. In other words, they didn't get sufficient information, but now that they had back then the sufficient information led them to revoke Nigel Dharamlal's visa. No word from Nigel as yet on that. Nigel Dharamlal, that is. Then look at this. This is what Bharat Jagdev had to do. It says here back then, opposition leader Bharat Jagdev reprimanded PPPC's member of parliament, Nigel Dharamlal, over his derisive attacks on President David Granger. He attacked David Granger, right? Not only that, and we can go on, lots of other things about this guy, Dharamlal. PPP member of parliament Nigel Dharamlal under probe. This was back in 2016. Under probe following gun threat against diplomatic worker. Is this the Nigel Dharamlal that is now calling for judges to be removed, the acting chancellor to be removed because a decision was not made in their favor, the PPP's favor? It is dangerous grounds, and I agree with you, Senior Counsel Roysdale Ford. He should be removed as a member of parliament. He should be removed as a minister. And I hope the new leader of the People's National Congress reform is watching, because if he's watching, scores of people should be in front of Dharamlal's ministry tomorrow calling for his resignation. I hope the opposition leader is also watching. Any word before we go, Mr. Roysdale Ford?
Mark, I want the Guyanese public to know that the elections petitions are alive and well. We will prosecute these petitions to the end. We hope that the court will hear them as fast as possible, which will ultimately result in the revelation of the evidence, the mass of evidence that we have that will show the illegitimacy of this government. They don't want us to speak up about their illegitimacy, but they're an illegitimate government. They're not properly in government, and we will soon continue the march through the courts and every other means available to us to ensure that they're soon removed from government.
All right, well said. We have coming up also. Sorry about that, Mr. Ford. We have also coming up your friends and your colleagues. We have.
Hey, good night, my
Hey, good night.
colleagues.
Look, your mic, Mr. Solomon. Your mic. Mr.
Hi,
Solomon.
good evening, comrades. Sorry about that. How y'all doing? Good to be
Hey,
on
good
this
night,
program
Sean.
with
Good night,
such
Dennis.
esteemed gentlemen.
How are you doing?
Good,
You know,
right here.
you know, senior counsel, look at the gentleman you ran up against for chairmanship. Y'all shake hands. Let's see the shake hands.
We did that Saturday night, Mark. We did that. we were in contact and constant contact. So we had our bump fist moments.
Good, and that's how it ought to be. And look, the gentleman on top, the member of parliament, I heard that you didn't get a chance to cast your vote at the Congress, Mr. Jai Prashad. Is that correct? What happened? You didn't get to vote.
Correct.
We leave that
Correct,
as
sir.
it's over. You didn't get to vote.
But it's
right?
over.
It's over. It's done with. Let's say goodnight to Senior Counsel Roysdale Ford, and let's congratulate you again, sir. A job well done on this elections petition. Salute to you, sir.
Mark, you know, one of the things I wanted to say, having seen Sharma and Dinesh here, is that even after this internal elections, the People's National Congress reform would have demonstrated its resilience and its democratic credentials. We are the only party, Mark, that have such a cross-section of people with skills and abilities that could take this government and deliver a proper, effective management that will result in better lives for these people. So, to Mark, when I see Sharma, when I see Dinesh, I'm excited. I'm happy to be in such a great party, to have such good friends. We will have our disagreements, we will have our debates, but it's all ultimately for the advancement of our party and ultimately for the advancement of the people of this country. And there's no party stopping the People's National Congress reform.
Let me just go ahead. Go ahead, Mr. Ford. Your time. You speak.
No, you
Sorry.
go, Mark. You go, Mark.
No. You go ahead.
I was saying good night to the public, good night to the listeners, and good night to all of you. And I'm handing it over to my distinguished colleagues.
You know what I like about this is the fact that all of us, all four of us right now, we have some differences. So what we're able to do is put those differences aside and pound fist, as Sharma Solomon said, pound fist, be real gentlemen. Yeah. And I hope that others are like that. Put the vindictiveness aside. Put the elections aside. It's done with. Let's move forward. The real enemy is those vagabonds, or those vagabonds in the installed regime. Thank you so much again, Senior Counsel. God bless you, and thank you for delivering this elections petition appeal to all of us. All of us. Thank you, sir. Well deserved.
Thank you very much, Mark. Good night, fellows.
Thank you. All right.
Good night.
Well,
Thank you.
Man did a darn good job. Got the PPP trembling right now because of that elections petition. Let's begin with the elections petition. And let's begin with the Honorable Member of Parliament, Dinesh Jaiprashad. Your take on the elections petition's victory.
Good night, brothers.
Good night.
Good night, 107. Good night, 107.1 family. And Mark, thank you for affording me opportunity once again to be on your program. Today was a good day. Today is a good day for all Guyana. Today is a day that we show that we are not failing our supporters. We are not failing the people. And Petition 99 is literally, what happened today is literally strengthening the hopes of our Guyanese population that we still have faith in the law. And I must say congratulations to Senior Counsel Roysdale Ford for
doing an excellent job, and we know that he will take it through, and we will have our desired results. I must say that a lot of our brothers and sisters in Guyana were losing hope in this petition because they were not hearing, update regularly as to what really was happening. But this coming out today indicates that we still have some good people in the legal fraternity, and we know Senior Counsel Ford will be doing justice for us. So that's my take on it.
Good. Thank you so much. It was actually a very, very strong case, and the arguments made by Senior Counsel Royzel Ford, Member of Parliament, and his team were very convincing. But again, I mentioned earlier, my friend Justice Rishi Prasad seemed to be very consistent in his ruling against this petition. Now, that's all I wish to say. Good evening to Justice Rishi Prasad if he's watching. But before we get to Mr. Solomon, former chairman of Region Number 10, let me just make this quick announcement. You know, we have the morning program, the mid-morning show, right here on 107.1 FM with Miss Gabriela Patram and Selector Andre. This is from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Guyana time. And here's this announcement. Tomorrow morning, the newly elected leader of the People's National Congress Reform, Aubrey Compton Norton, will be a guest on the mid-morning show tomorrow, right here on 107.1 FM. They start, I think he's going to be on from 10 o'clock Guyana time, which will be 11 o'clock if you're in the U.S., the eastern part of the U.S. Tomorrow, Aubrey Norton will be on this show, 10 a.m. Guyana time. So tune into that, the mid-morning show. Mr. Solomon, good evening and welcome again. Surprise at all at this appellate court's ruling in favor of having the petition 99 be heard?
Good evening, Mark. Good evening, Denishwar. And to the guest, to the studio audience. I know Lemon is there, but good evening to the audience in general. No, Mark, petition 99 is a very strong petition. The contents of the petition reflects the issue that occurred on the recount. But outside of the strength of the petition itself, Mark, I believe what the court registered today and where we find ourselves in the halls of justice is that you see the court operating in that separation of power. And I believe when we heard Senior Counsel Ford in his very angry, and I give him every right to be, as someone who served the court and continues to serve the court well, to see the state as a sitting minister, Minister Dharamlal is, he represents the state. And going back to the question you asked about not being surprised, we see that separation of power working, where the courts, the judiciary, represents an arm of where the separation begins. And to see the performance of the judiciary today brings hope and should give Guyanese hope that not only the strength of the petition, but where the courts finds itself, and even with the opposed judge to the majority ruling, it says how these courts are constructed on principles and ideals and values, and that should be respected, because that in itself is what promotes the separation and the power of the separation. So that even those judges with their own ideological interpretation and goes by the Constitution and how they look at the justice of that, holds within them the value of the courts and that separation. So to see the minister take aim at justices to ask for their removal is an open and direct attack by the state on the judiciary. That is what we witnessed today, Mark, at two levels. Not just the victory, but in that victory, the attack by the state on the judiciary in itself is where we are as a society, Mark. That's the strength of the petition.
Yeah, I know mental illness, and this is not an attack on that per se, but I do see some serious issues with this guy, Dharamlal. I don't know what's happening upstairs, but something is definitely not right with that guy, Dharamlal. Power drunk, doesn't have much sense. It is pretty obvious, but something isn't right. What is your take, MP, about this statement coming out from attributed to Dharamlal attacking the acting chancellor, calling for the removal of the acting chancellor and the other sitting High Court appellate court judge? What is your take on that, sir?
Mark, those comments and remarks against those judges are poor, I should say, coming from a person holding public office. The Guyanese population needs an apology, and we need to petition, we need to move a motion so that he can propose a removal of office from him, because you are a sitting minister and you are openly, challenging the decision of the judges. It's saying that bullyism or raw muscle power, political raw power, it is basically saying that there are some people who are above the law. It is a start state for us in Guyana when a minister, someone perceived to be, let me rephrase. A minister is one that is held in high esteem in any nation. And for a minister to go that route, indeed something is wrong. You made mention earlier, Mark, about mental health. So I think that fits it directly. Something is definitely wrong for someone holding one of the highest office in a government to, make those allegations. So
it is good. It is good that you said that a motion should be brought against him to get rid of him as a member of parliament. And one has to be very careful because the PPP trembles when they hear certain expressions. And I'm talking about getting rid of him as a member of parliament from that sitting. But we got to say, unfortunately, you guys have a speaker of the National Assembly who is pro-PPP, downright pro-PPP. He is more pro-PPP and anti-democracy than former Speaker, Mr. Senior Counsel, that is Ralph Ramkaran. Ralph Ramkaran was a destructionist when it comes to democracy in the sitting of the National Assembly. But this guy, this current Speaker of the National Assembly, whatever his name is again, is quite horrible, man. So you guys can't get past him. What's his name again?
Manzoor Nadir.
Manzoor Nadir, the man who was once the head of the United Force, destroyed the United Force, dashed the United Force to his daughter, who is now leading the defunct, United Force. Nothing is going to get past him in terms of destroying the PPP in Parliament. Absolutely nothing. Don't hold your breath on that. Let's
Mark, it is our duty to propose it so that people will know that we are representing them at all levels.
Oh yeah, propose it, but don't expect it to get past that guy Manzoor Nadir at all. Sharma Solomon, let's get back to you, sir. Elections done, Congress done. The 21st Biennial Congress of the People's National Congress Reform. You ran for office. You were not successful. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. You're a strong fighter. You're a patriot. You're committed to not only Region 10, but you're committed to your country. And for that, I salute you. What is your take on the conclusion of the elections and results and so forth?
Thanks again, Mark, for that. I know that when I speak, I always say to people that if we don't win, we learn. This was what the process was. It was an opportunity for every candidate, going all the way down to the delegates, all the way down to the membership, all the way down to supporters, and in the wider context, Guyana, to learn. to learn just what this process was. And for you not to take away lessons to learn from, it means then we have not done our job. And we did our job. We did our job over the weekend, 18th of December. The People's National Congress demonstrated once again what a democratic process really is. We showed the world in the vanguard spirit of the party, where a member could move to leader, where members are allowed to participate in the process of identifying the leadership. And we expose that process to the world. The members and the party must feel proud about that. No party does that in Guyana. In the Anglo-Saxon Caribbean, no party has promoted that sort of internal democratic process.
Exactly.
So we as a party, more so as an individual who participated, and let me express to those comrades, those groups, those members who found in me the confidence to serve, I am most grateful, but beyond that, I am humble. So that lesson, Mark, of giving the opportunity to serve and to participate in such a transparent and open process is one that I have played a part in that process that I feel humbled by. But let me say this further to the process, Mark. What we witnessed on the 18th of December has not only energized our base, it has energized Guyana to find value in politics and to show interest in those who want to seek political office, that they must be accountable to the people to demonstrate what they have to offer. So I am most encouraged by that, the means by which we have been able to energize our base. It is now for us to pick those pieces up, Mark, and move on to the issues that are confronting us, internal and external. So I'll tell you this, in understanding the issue of unity, which is the foundation on which every candidate openly expressed to the public and membership, that is our underlying principle to deal with the issues that confront us externally. That I am most grateful that on Saturday morning, I was called by the new leader of the party, Comrade Norton, to express to me that we have work to do. And in giving him my congratulations, I expressed to him that we have always demonstrated our commitment and prepared to do work for the party. So I believe we understand what is important, Mark. Those values of the vanguardness of our party would teach anyone a lesson on how they can move forward to further build this party. And that is what I got from the Congress, Mark.
All right, well said. Sharma Solomon, former chairman of region number 10. He ran for position there, chairmanship. Wasn't successful this time around, but I'm sure with the energy and the youthfulness in him, at some point in time, he will, because once there is something in store for you, no man, no one, no individual can deny you of that. Let me just say to some of our listeners, I see some of the comments, please. We don't encourage people cursing at each other on this platform. Please, we do not encourage that. Let us agree to disagree. I notice a cat fight that's going on right now, from people who are supposed to be party members, supporters, mind you, of the coalition, supporters of the PNCR. There's a cat fight happening right now. A cat fight happening right now. Please finish with that cat fight, please. They know who they are. Finish with that cat fight. This is not the place for it at all. All right? No cat fight, no cursing, not on this platform. Do not do it. Do not disrespect the platform. And these are people that I know and I respect, and I hope you could respect this platform as well. If you disagree on a subject, approach it in a professional manner. Please. No cursing on this platform at all. Pandit, and plus the Pandit is here with us too, and y'all cursing up and going on. What's happening in Region 6? Lots of problems happening in Region 6. Lots of problems happening in Region 6. People don't have anything to do. No, 50,000 jobs Irfan promised the people. Nothing at all. Absolutely nothing. In fact, they used to laugh. This business, plant and chips business, right? But this is the only business like in Barbies right now, plant and chips and dog food. What is happening in Region 6, Honorable MP.
Mark, before I go to Region 6, I want to add a few words to what Mr. Solomon said earlier. I want to say to our viewers and listeners everywhere that the PNC has done something in Guyana for the first time that no other party have ever done, or we are prophesizing that no other party can do or will do when it comes to the democratic process of having a leader. What we have done as the PNC to have this election congress being held shows that we are a people whereby we can challenge each other, discuss and debate, and at the end of the day, arrive at one decision. We have shown that. I must say that the PNC is far more larger than any individual. All of us have differences, as we made mention earlier, but at the end of the day, our duty is to team up and remove the PPP from office. That is our goal. So we got to put aside whatever differences we have and work together so that we can be able to rebuild our party. To the new leader, Mr. Norton, Obi Norton, sir, congratulations. And we know that you will continue to move this party forward. Coming to Region 6 now, Mark, the PPP campaign promises are being handed out now to the supporters. And I say this because the Honorable Zulfikar Mustafa in Parliament made mention that, you know, the 250,000 grant to sugar worker was a promise, you know, a campaign promise. So they are delivering to their support base what they owe them. We observe what is happening today. What happened today as it relates to the 7% being given to sugar workers again. So we are seeing that a lot of our taxpayers' money are being put into one sector, whereby the other sectors are not, you know. Jobs, people continue to be out of jobs, unemployment going up in Berbice. Cost of living is hitting skyrocket. People are not having the basic food supplies because jobs are not there, and things getting from bad to worse. A small bottle of oil that we purchased last year for 300 is now 650. So within a year of the BBP, 100% increase on a lot of food items. And what they are blaming it on COVID. You know, everything is COVID. I must say that in Region 6 today, a 9-month-old child died because of COVID.
Yep, I saw that a little child actually died.
A little child.
Yeah.
And this is saying to us that the Ministry of Health, the Minister of Health, with all the ministers there advising him, there isn't a plan to help the Guyanese people. Region 6 is getting from bad to worse as it relates to the COVID infection, and nothing is being done. Our borders continue to be porous, and curfew. Every week is a wedding, every week is a birthday celebration. A few days ago, one businessman in the quarantine shut off the yard and had artists from Trinidad performing. Nobody could go there and say anything. But just the poor man got a little function. I invited 10 person, police walked down and shut down everything. So there isn't a deal. The measuring stick is not the same for all the people who have friends and associates and contacts. You know, you pay your way out, and the poor man continues to suffer. So that's basically for Berbice. People are suffering. A lot of them are ashamed to speak out. They're complaining to us to say that, you know, we vote for them and we vote for the PPP, and look what's happening now. But I'm saying that this is the time for you to come out and register your complaints. But you know what? We know what happens.
Okay,
they will give
of
you
course.
some information, and they're not coming forward.
We know what happened. 50,000 jobs, nothing at all. 50,000 jobs. I see a lot of the trench crop was coming out. Their bumps raising. They're being tickled. They are frustrated. Typical coming out of Freedom House, mind you, that they are confused.
Mark, also, today, Vice President indicated that it will be hard to start the Show Estate, you know. So we see that they are aware. We downsize, but it will take them a long time to resuscitate, you know, and make sugar vibrant again.
You know,
So it is a political gimmick.
Good. Political gimmick indeed. Look at this comment from Romel and Rennie. Good evening to you, Romel. He's saying, here is the excuse. People are suffering all parts of the world today. All parts of the world don't have billions of dollars of oil. All parts of the world don't have their leaders living lavishly in big mansions and driving out with expensive cars and brutalizing citizens and attacking judges and all these things. So, Romel, it is more than just that, man. But I understand what you're trying to do and what you're saying. 50,000 jobs and nothing at all for the people. Now, look, we know that over the past year, the opposition, as much as some of us may have issues with them, but they have been chipping away at this installed regime. They have been chipping away at the installed regime. And we see what's happening now, that they're running scared. Their backs are against the wall. They don't know what to do any longer. No 50,000 jobs. They don't have monies. They're borrowing monies left, right, and center. A minister who seemed to be suffering some sort of mental illness. I don't know. I can't really pronounce on that, but the evidence might be clear to members of the public, mind you. Dharam Lal, confused, attacking judges because of a decision, and all these manner of things. Mr. Sharma Solomon, do you see that desperation of the PPPC as a way for them to get out of this description of being installed or considered as an installed regime? Do you see them trying to now force themselves to have snap elections?
Mark, certainly, absolutely. There is absolutely no explanation one could bring on two levels. On the behavior of the PPP and government with regards to giving the Guyanese population, and more so, it is no less than Bharat Jagdeo, Vice President, who in the first local government was clear to say this is how he goes about consolidating his base. So there is a base that he knows he needs to feed that appetite of the base, which is not necessarily as Clive Thomas proposed, Professor Thomas, of cash transfer, but cash grant. And in every one of these cash grants, the sort of corruption, it is to fatten the base. It is to ensure the base is fed. Even at the level of the sugar estate, it is to ensure that the base is fed so that at the end of the day, we give the base the sort of support because we're electioneering, we're on the ground, we're demonstrating that we're there to cover our base. This is coming from Vice President Jagdeo, who outlined that this, and even as Comrade Dineshwar mentioned, of what Zulkar Mustafa, Agriculture Minister, said, this is a promise, an election promise to fulfill to that base in terms of where they wanted to spend the money of recent to Gaisuku and continue spending on Gaisuku, even though the Vice President is saying that Gaisuku is not profitable and it will take some time before it could become so. So this is an open position on that. But further to that, Mark, this petition today that we saw is also saying to that government that this matter is not a done deal. Elections 2020 is not a done deal. So what you are seeing in itself is the sort of behavior from a government, from a party who recognizes that they are in a position where they have to ensure the electioneer early, and the issue of having a opposition party, having a opposition group within the structure of the coalition, such as the People's National Congress, finding energy to understand that the issues affecting the state and the people, high cost of living, bad handling of COVID, all the issue of corruption that we see coming out from Guyana, those are things that signal to one mark, that the only option the PPP is left with is to see how much they can consolidate that base and grab more power. That is what we see, Mark. So I want listeners to appreciate that what we see in all elements of society points directly that we have a government that is taking advantage of the state and is feeling threatened by the fact that people are paying attention and are preparing, whether it's petition, whether it's organizing at party level, whether it's strength in parliament, whether it's pressure on the handling of all the matters that are occurring, that they now feel pressure to move in such a direction. So it is not an assumption, Mark. You look and you see where the breadcrumbs is leading, and it's leading right there to a snap election.
Of course, they are running scared indeed. They have nothing else to turn to. They can deliver. They promise free education at the university level. All these manner of things they have promised. 50,000 jobs. Irfan Ali was presumptuous enough to say, whilst he was going through his 19 fraud charges, blocked from going to Canada, said that 50,000 jobs. Look, Pandit, Honorable Pandit, Member of Parliament, no disrespect to you, sir, and our listeners, and also Mr. Solomon, but where is Irfan Ali going to find 50,000 jobs? Is he going to open his guts and pull them out? I don't mean any disrespect, but where is he going to find 50,000 jobs? In 2011, and you know, Mr. Solomon, that Donald Ramotar, whilst he was campaigning in Linden, he promised the people of Linden 3,000 jobs. But instead of giving the people of Linden or Region 10 3,000 jobs, he gave them no jobs, but 3 caskets. I don't know.
Well, Mark, I think what you're actually witnessing, and as I said, you know, even the type of gaslighting you see to justify those ridiculous, not necessarily unfulfilled promises that cannot be met, but because of the handling of this government, and to promise those jobs, and then to have a minister to come out and say to us that it was Photoshop, as if that was not their campaign promise, then to imagine where we can see their behavior in delivering on those promises. It is one where, Mark, that they take Guyanese for granted. They believe that they can say something, not perform, as you mentioned in the case of Donald Ramotar, but instead when Guyanese choose to stand in defense, and this is very important for people to recognize, because people are beginning to become agitated in how they see the behavior of the government, unfulfilled promises, and then this is the state response. So when workers, as teachers a couple months ago, decide to take to the streets, we have to know if the state will respond in the same manner as Ramotar. Instead of promising those jobs, deliver on something else, because that is the nature of this People's Progressive Party, Mark. So,
Indeed.
take not for granted. Take not for granted what comes with those promises, and we have experienced that, Mark.
Lots and lots of promises, broken promises. The people out in Region 6, as the Honorable MP Dineshwar Jaiprashad has said, lots of people are frustrated. Their own support base, they're frustrated as well. It is a sad situation. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yes, indeed, their supporters are very much frustrated and angry because the flood relief money is still in limbo. The amount of money allocated for the poor people are not being delivered to the poor people. But a lot of friends and associates are receiving the big chunk, the 10 million and 20 million and 23 million and 8 millions. And the poor people who need the 50,000 and the 100,000 and the 150, because they have lost all that they invested in, they are not getting it. In all the villages, you see so much of discrepancy, a lot of their supporter base. And bearing in mind that this flood relief primarily was pumped into PPP stronghold areas, and they are very much angry. They are exposing as to what really are happening. Neighbors will complain against each other because Dinesh planted nothing, but he received a check. Solomon, on the other hand, who lost all that he had, received no check. And this is what happened. People are very much frustrated, and they know that if petition 99 comes true, there will be a lot of changes happening in this country.
Mark, if I could just support the point
sure,
of
Mr.
Dinesh.
Solomon. Go ahead, Sean.
You had Ramaya, who was so embarrassed, a government appointee, so embarrassed because of the handling of the flood relief effort and the grant that he resigned. He resigned because he was so embarrassed. Now, even the Minister of Agriculture have said that an investigation would be launched because of the misappropriating and mishandling of the cash grant for the flood relief effort. Now, I understand just the sort of hurt Dineshwar is speaking from when you have people you represent who their livelihoods have been wiped out and the finances there to help them, and it has not been channeled to them. I could understand why Brother Ramaya felt the need to resign, because it was that amount of embarrassment. And not only on the Essequibo coast, but across Guyana. People who put blood, sweat, and tears into farmlands got nothing, while those who absolutely planted little or nothing got the bulk of the money. That is what happened with the flood relief grant. So you can understand the sort of resentment and pressure that the People's Progressive Party and the government is coming under by their own supporters, much less the wider Guyana.
All right, lots and lots of pressure, 12 minutes after 10 o'clock. And that also explains not just Ramaya embarrassed about the rapid or rampant corruption out there in Region 6 and within the Ministry of Agriculture. Billions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars. Look at some of those officials in the Ministry of Agriculture. Look at some of them. Just look. Filthy rich overnight. They promised an investigation, nothing. Just like the Guyana Oil Company promised an investigation with that millions of dollars corruption scheme, nothing at all. Where is the Auditor General's report? Instead, the Auditor General is brave enough to come out and say, but a couple thousand people didn't get cash grant under the coalition. He is brave enough to say that, but he's not saying anything else about corruption under the PPP, the installed PPP regime. Nothing at all. Okay, let us hope that, let the Auditor General know that Guyanese are not stupid people at all. Look at Schumann. Schumann also is fed up. Schumann is frustrated. I don't know how come Schumann probably didn't jump over the balcony of Parliament building and just run away and said he has had enough. The man is fed up also. Fed up of the PPP. Fed up of the massive corruption. And if Schumann, of all persons, can be fed up of them, understand what is happening in Guyana. And not only Schumann, one of the leading members of the Guardian of Democracy,
Article 13.
Brian McIntosh.
Article 13.
Brian fed up, everybody fed up of them. It's only soon, a matter of time before Freddie Kisuna also just fed up of them. Everybody fed up. Look, I've got to go, man. I got to do some painting. And I'm not going to lie to you guys. Look at my hands. Doing some painting. It's the holiday season. We can't go on and on and on all night, man. I have another life, right? But let us get the closing remarks first, coming from the Honorable Member of Parliament, Dineshwar Jaiprashad.
Thank you very much. Mark, I must say that I was happy to know that Schumann is back in opposition mode. For more than a year now, Schumann has been, in close union with the PPP. So I am happy that, I am there in Parliament, see that, the transition from being PPP to opposition happened, before me. I'm happy. I'm happy that he come to his senses to know that these PPP operators are there only for themselves, and he now realized that he was played. And I'm hoping that he will make the necessary representation so that the constituency that he represents will benefit from his presence in Parliament. To the Guyanese population, please have faith. Petition 99 is something of hope. Do not lose faith in the PNC. Do not lose faith in City Council Royal Ford and team. We know things coming for us, good things coming for us. To all of us, the festivity of the season is coming on us. Please remember the purpose of this season and try to reflect on how far we have come as a people. I know I'm not a Christian, but I enjoy Christmas, and we do things differently as a Guyanese people from other parts of the world. We enjoy each other's holiday and festive time more than any part of the world. So on behalf of myself and family, Merry Christmas. We will see each other before New Year. So Merry Christmas. May the blessings of the season be with all of us and cause us to be right-thinking individuals. Continue to strive to represent the cause that we are here for. Find our purpose and fulfill it so that we can be able to be happy and the people who look up to us can be happy as well. So my brother Sharma Solomon, thank you very much for sharing your comments with me. It's a pleasure. You guys are senior politicians. I am learning from you. Mark, thank you very much. God bless.
Thank you very much, Panditji. And all the best to you and your beautiful family as well. Give my regards to all the people at Port Morant. Walk all the houses and say, Ben Shop, say hi. Ben Shop, say namaste. Namaste to all, right? And I do mean it. Thank you for all that you're doing, Honorable MP. Thank you for representing the people out there in Region 6. I know in 2022 that activism, that representation will increase tenfold. I wish you all the best, strength and happiness to you and your family. Thank you so much, MP. Let's go over to the man who was once chairman of region number 10, a strong, competent chairman of that region. Sharma Solomon, your closing remarks, sir.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks for having me on and to share this platform with both Senior Counsel Ford. Let me congratulate him and his team again for ensuring that we see the democratic process of our state work, that there is separation of power, and the issues can be looked at in the court and be given the sort of attention that it deserves. So I wish them well moving forward on this matter. And to also say to MP Dineshwar Pandit, I am very encouraged that I had the opportunity to share this platform with you too. I know we represent the same cause in terms of getting the sort of attention to the issues, to represent the issues of people and to advance their cause, whether that is done in Parliament or in our various communities through our activism. And I wish you well moving forward, and I wish you much success. It was good to even have your presence in the campaign. It had the sort of diversity of knowledge. I believe what we saw, Mark, over the past weekend is the depth of the People's National Congress in terms of talent, in terms of skills. If anyone had questioned that, I believe what we saw on display represented to Guyana and the rest of the world, that in our party, we have the sort of diverse skills, not only to move the People's National Congress forward, but to move Guyana in the right direction. So I give you all of that recognition, Pandit. And to say to Guyana, not to lose focus on what is before us. It is our state, it is our future, it is our children's future. And what we have in terms of what the People's Progressive Party and the government is doing to our dear nation is one where we have to come together. And I speak for us as a people. I speak for us as our party showed and demonstrated, and what we hold within our National Assembly in the various arms. But as a people, that we have to confront what is taking place before us and do that very vigorous and aggressive. So I say to you, be mindful what the People's Progressive Party is coming with. They're electioneering at the very early point of the year. They're demonstrating that their backs are against the wall. And it's only in a collective understanding of how we build and pool those resources together will we be effective to take them on, but beyond that, to be able to manage our state in the way that all Guyanese can prosper and benefit.
Well said, Sharma Solomon, man of wisdom, Solomon, the man Solomon. Thank you so much. Pandit Jai Prashad, also member of parliament. Thank you both so much. Thanks to our earlier guest, Senior Counsel Roysdale Ford. Again, congratulations to Roysdale Ford and his team for bringing home that victory in the appellate court for petition 99, a very important petition, something that the PPP has been running away from for obvious reasons. Obvious reasons. Gentlemen, thank you all so much. See you soon. And let me say this before we go. Dinesh Jaiprashad, MP, is back next Tuesday with his show, the Dinesh Jaiprashad Show, right here on 107.1.
Before I go, Mark, let me say a season greetings to the Christian community and to all of Guyana. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Yep, and same to you and your young family, your beautiful daughters, Sharma Solomon, and give my regards to your wife as well, and your mother and other relatives and so forth, including your sibling. Thank you all so much. Thank you all. I missed a point that I was making, but that's okay, Mr. Solomon. Those things do happen. Thank you, Dinesh. Thank you so much. God bless you both. Yeah. All right. Before we go, I want to make this closing remarks about this guy, right? This guy, Dharam Lal, got his visa revoked. He hasn't stated why his visa was revoked. He didn't say why. We want to know why. This is the same guy, Dharam Lal, right? Look, charged former permanent sex. Sorry about that. I apologize. Sorry about that. Secretary. Permanent secretary, the Ministry of Amerindian Affairs. Quite controversial individual back then. Still is. They were charged. Fraud and all these sort of things. Dharam Lal there for you guys, right? Dharam Lal, same Dharam Lal, allegedly pulled a gun, right, on a diplomatic worker. Look, same guy. These are the guys who want to pretend that they are lawmakers of that country. These are the guys who are sitting in senior positions running that country. Look, this guy has to apologize. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. He's not a regular guy at Philippi Backdam or Alnis Backdam or Kildonan Backdam or somewhere out planting rice at Yakasari or Les Beholden out there in Blackbush Polder or Bloomfield or somewhere, right? No, he is a sitting minister of an installed regime who has launched a personal attack on sitting judges, all because the justices ruled against the petition, meaning they ruled basically in favor of the petition being heard, in favor. And this political vagabond, mind you, look, I'm not going to talk about screenshots and sexual thing and those, because we're on radio, Dharam Lal. I wouldn't talk about those things. Those are personal things, mind you, allegations, personal. But I wouldn't get involved in that. But Dharam Lal needs to issue a statement with immediate effect and apologize to the acting chancellor of the judiciary and the other justice of the Court of Appeal. In fact, he should be hauled before the court. He should be disciplined because he's bullying them. Cyberbullying. Where is the cyber bullying police? Or they're only there for opposition people? I don't know. One more thing before I go, man. one more thing before I go. Right? One more thing. This is what I want to say. The Private Sector Commission, and I agree with Aubrey Norton, the leader of the PNCR, Aubrey Compton Norton. I agree with him because it is something that has been echoed over a year now or beyond, that the Private Sector Commission is an anti-business entity. It is pro-PPP. Look at this guy who is the chairman of the Private Sector Commission. Look at him. His name is Paul Chung. Paul Chung, right? Paul Chung has the audacity to talk about rigged elections for obvious reasons. He's a good friend of Irfan Ali. Irfan Ali give you a good position. He is chairman of Guy Oil, where the massive corruption took place. Massive corruption under his watch. So he has no authority, none whatsoever, to pronounce on what is rigged and what is not rigged. Look at the corruption in that Guy Oil. And I am almost certain that if an audit is conducted now, you will see even more corruption. But he has been made the chairman of the Private Sector Commission. And does he expect Paul Chung, mind you, who's a good friend of Irfan Ali, who campaigned for the PPP, does he expect, I believe, mind you, I believe he campaigned for the PPP, does he expect people to believe that he is fair and that the Private Sector Commission is a bipartisan entity under his stewardship? Absolutely not. Now let's go back to what he said. This is what Paul said. The PNC cabal, this is Paul Chung in 2020. The PNC cabal, when will you guys come clean to this nation? Fraud is fraud. Let's speak about Mingo, verify fraud or shut up. This is what he said back in July 24th, 2020 on his Facebook page. Now he can make these statements and jump like others when they are caught with their pants down to say that their page was hacked. Oh, my page was hacked. Paul Chung, your page wasn't hacked. This is what you said. You have no evidence. There's nothing at all to substantiate your claim about fraud. I bet you wouldn't say this or you wouldn't put such a post up about your friend Irfan Ali, who has had 19 fraud charges leveled against him. 19 fraud charges. You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't say that at all. But look at the presumptuousness of this guy, right? But yet he sits there as chairman of the Private Sector Commission, and he wants people to believe that that he is not political. He wants people to believe that he's fair. Right? And look at his statement about Aubrey Norton, that they want peace and respect of the Constitution. Who the hell are you, Paul, to talk about peace and respect of the Constitution? Why don't you go to Irfan Ali and Bharat Jagdeo and them and talk about peace, talk about law and order, because they are on the verge of destroying the Guyana police force, corrupting the Guyana police force. Look at the drug trade. Talk about the drugs in the country, Paul Chung. Right? You're talking about Aubrey Norton and in your sly way of congratulating him, trying to say that there will be, a disregard, for law and order in the country. You know, we understand that. We understand what you're saying there, but you wouldn't say that about the PPP. You wouldn't. We know why, Paul Chung. We know why you wouldn't say that about the PPP. Because maybe birds of a feather, maybe, mind you, flock together, right? Just imagine these political vagabonds, man. Just imagine them. Look at this other one. Speaking of political vagabonds, look, you wet. Probably sour. I pray for those fire tenders, man. I pray for those police officers who were next to this guy. Look at his condition. To this day, over 2 weeks, going on 3 weeks, he cannot show the public the results of the investigations. The fire investigations there, conducted, finished, concluded and everything. But Robson Ben doesn't want members of the public to see it. They're covering things up. Oh, yes, they are. Right, Lemon? Lemon, they're having this big party in their basement. Okay. But look, forget about from one vagabond to the next vagabond to this other. Oh, shucks. This guy eats so much plantain chips, sells so much plantain chips, so much that he's looking like plantain chips. This man is looking like plantain chips, right? He sold so much plantain chips that he's looking like plantain chips. Not so long ago, he said we need to have a conversation about role models, you know. And we have to have that conversation start. We have to start that conversation. He disappeared. Plantain chips stuck in his throat. Or God in heaven knows what else. It's none of my business, mind you. What else is stuck in his throat? It's none of my business. But this is the guy. He jumped on radio and he said, we got to start this conversation about role model. And you know, we need to start this conversation about role model. And role model disappearing, God. A bunch of political vagabonds they are, right? That's just who they are. That's just what they're about. But meanwhile, look at this. This young lady, mind you, the DPP, recommends charge for permanent secretary, allegedly busted and collected. Now, look, this is my opinion about this thing. This is my opinion. Somebody was after this young lady. Someone in high office was after this young lady, and they wanted to ensure that they entrap her. In the United States or other part of the developed world, this would be an entrapment. An entrapment of an individual is not acceptable in court. It will be thrown out. You cannot entrap an individual, and I am almost certain that they do not have sufficient evidence against this young lady. Again, I don't know who she is, but I'm listening and I'm reading, and I conclude this evening that they have absolutely no evidence against her, but they want her by any means necessary to get rid of her from that agency so that they can possibly continue with massive corruption right there at the Ministry of Amerindian or Indigenous Affairs. Someone high up wanted her out of the way. And so they ensure that they got her out of the way. But here is where I have some issue with what the DPP has done. There are other cases where the evidence is glaring, and the same DPP has dismissed all of the charges, discontinue, null pros, all of the charges, all. So why then this particular young lady, permanent secretary, is being made the culprit, as though she thief, as though there was something corrupt about what she did? Look, we all can read between the lines. They wanted her out of the way. Story done. And it is basically to embarrass her that she collect a little small piece. And when I say small piece, you know what I mean, right? $200,000, allegedly. Come on. Read between the lines. They wanted her to go. And the DPP seemed to have aided and abetted them, politically speaking. But if you charge her for that, and you can't charge Irfan Ali, you can't charge or discontinue the charges against Irfan Ali, 19 fraud charges. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know how you guys feel. But I've got to go, man. I've really, really got to go. I love you guys. God bless you. But don't forget, here is what's happening. Don't forget, tomorrow morning, right? Tomorrow morning on the mid-morning show with Gabby and her DJ, Andre. You know how those DJ, right? Well, they play some good music. But tomorrow morning, her guest at 10 o'clock Guyana time, which will be, and thanks to the correction someone earlier, which will be 9 o'clock Guyana time, right? I'm sorry, I'm getting mixed up. Old age, forgive me. Aubrey Norton, the leader of the PNCR, will be on her show, this young lady's show, right here on 107.1 FM tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock Guyana time, 9 o'clock if you live in New York, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Aubrey Norton will be her guest. Aubrey Compton Norton. Now, I will be tuning in because I want to listen, not to what exactly or just what Aubrey has to say, but I want to listen to how she will conduct this interview. So tune in tomorrow morning, right here on 107.1 FM. My name is Mark Benshaw, the one and the only. And now look, for Paul Chung, the private sector chairman, commission chairman, the politically aligned PPP private sector commission and the chairman, he gets the award for tonight. Here goes. Paul, if you're listening, this is for you. All right, that's for him. And I wish I can play it again for the other trench crappos. There seem to have been a lot of them this evening. Lots of them. And that's what happens when their bumps tickle. I do mean tickle, mind you. All right, I've got to go. God bless you all. Until tomorrow, same place, same time, right here on 107.1 FM. Tomorrow morning, don't forget that interview with Aubrey Norton on the mid-morning show right here on 107.1. I'll play this for Lemon and the guys them in that basement, crowded basement, and for all of you. It's a festive season. So let's get up and dance. Come on, let's do some dancing. God bless.
I'm in the mood. I'm feeling rude. I'm feeling hot. I want to run. The feeling exciting. So darling, let's do something. I wanna rub my body on your body. Body on your body. Let me rub my body on your body. I wanna rub my body on your body. I wanna rub and love him. I wanna rub and kiss him. I wanna rub and jam him. I wanna rub and rub him. I wanna rub my body on your body. Rub my body on your body. Let me rub my body. Rub my body on your body. I just get paid. I want to play. The vibes is right. I wanna hug up tight. No time to waste. I wanna work my ways. So come on up, babes. Give me a taste. I wanna rub my body on your body. I wanna rub my body on your body. Let me rub my body on your body. I wanna rub my body on your body. I wanna rub and love him. I wanna rub and kiss him. I wanna rub and jam him. I wanna rub and rub him. I wanna rub my body on your body. my body on your body.
Let me rub my body on your body.
I wanna rub my body on your body.
Well, no. I'm feeling, 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 I'm feeling. Smoking my brain, I wanna do my thing. Work up a sweat until I soak in wet. Rub your body, show no mercy, because I'm feeling tipsy, I'm feeling freaky. I wanna rub my body on your body.
I wanna rub my body on your body.
Let me rub my body on your body.
I wanna rub my body on your body.
I wanna rub